Napoleon Hill. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the ultimate endeavor, the purpose of life. Therefore, I demand myself persistent, continuous action towards attainment, and I here now promise to render such action. Second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reduce itself as an habit of physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire to consistently hold in my mind will eventually cease to practice means and therefore, I will go to 10 minutes daily demanding myself to develop self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down this description for my definite achievement of life, and I will never stop trying until I shall develop sufficient attainment. Fifth, I have fully realized that no wealth position along the door and thus build upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will gain no transaction with unbenefited or effect. I will succeed by attracting myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because I am willing to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfish cynicism by developing love for all humanity because I know that negative attitude towards others should never be beset. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, committed to memory, and repeat out loud once a day, with full faith to gradually influence my thoughts and actions, so I can become self-reliant as a person. Hurrah! 12-step summit of success. This is the 12-step formula with minimum standard which, when followed exactly following environment, guarantees 24 plus transactions annually, and the president of personal growth achievement. 1. I dedicate my entire day towards moving to my successful self-confidence. 2. I practice and internalize my sales skills for a minimum 1 hour each day. 3. I contact my peers by mail, by phone, and in person, and by email quarterly. 4. I make 150 plus contacts per week, 30 plus per day, by phone or in person. 5. I follow all qualified things daily. 6. I set 5 plus skill points, irons and sellers. 7. I completely qualify for my points. 8. I have appointments and solicitor ranger of 3% of grade. 9. I call my sellers weekly reduced solicitor figures by 10. 10. I sell 75% more than this inventory. 11. I return every signed call contact requiredly, 2 hours requiredly. 12. I will work with qualified buyers who have pre-qualified by mortgage lender and a buyer broker division. Earn more information, less time, and less energy spent. I recognize status of consistent action for the political government. Therefore, I commit to following the steps of 12 steps to success. Wow. Tony Robbins. Now I am the voice. I will lead, not follow. I will believe, not doubt. I will create, not destroy. I am a force for good. I am a leader. Defy the odds. Set a new standard. Step up. Opening affirmation. I'm a present salesperson who gets home sold. I use information to help my clients achieve their goals. I price my living strike. I focus on the small wins every day. Little team transactions are like in my heart. My abilities make me succeed. I get strong with every step. I'm a master of every situation. My confidence traded because I live with integrity. I always have productive thoughts. I take and prepare my body. I start each day with lots of energy. I am task-oriented. I take clear priorities daily. I know what I want to get in. I try to enjoy greater financial abundance each day. My gratitude gives me unlimited success. I take prosperous thoughts. I am prosperous. I am otherwise that I profit every day. To take action is easy for me. I make it a start each day. I enjoy being debt-free. I exercise daily. I enjoy nothing but not to succeed. I don't lose. I am a real estate expert. That's why I expect me to be the real estate expert. I'm professional. I'm financially independent. I render needs helping others. I have solutions. Prospect is doing my business. I call inspired to sell my owners. Prospect is easy for me. I work on a mental life. People attract my enthusiasm. I just acknowledge the seed. I get so stronger than they're calling me. I'm an outstanding salesperson. I'm a prospect. I know how to succeed. I keep positive, shining, productive thoughts in mind all the time. Yes! Morning. Morning. Good morning.
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 How's everybody doing?
Good.
Fabulous.
Good.
Awake? Excited about
Kinda.
taking your kinda? Right? Good deal. Any wins, victories, exciting things that are going on? Gotta be something. Brad just walked in. That's a win. Yeah.
Qualified the buyer yesterday.
Qualified a buyer.
Pre-qualified, she's good.
Wow, nice. You're pre-qual. Geez, that's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't know that.
Pre-qual, geez, right? Right? Any other victories or wins? Yeah,
The house I went on contract appraised for about $4,000 more than we offered.
that's a little rare in today's market, right? Nice. Any other victories, wins? Wow, none?
Well, I had a listening appointment Tuesday. It went, well, they didn't sign. I kind of changed the time up a little bit. I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. But it was funny because when I said, well, in order for me to go to work for you, all you need to do is just sign a couple of documents. And she just, her reaction was like,
Yeah?
no. They've been living in this home for 30 years.
Wow.
Her identity.
Is
This
there.
is what I'm learning, is her identity is just wrapped up. Everywhere she looks in this house, she sees herself.
She sees
And the
it.
thought of moving, it's just, she's like losing herself. This move, and I was just like, listen, let's go look at some other houses. We can look at some, so you get an idea of what you can start again, and let's do that. You don't, but it was interesting.
That's awesome, thanks for sharing.
Is she a widow now, or?
Oh, no, they're married they got lots of kids and grandkids.
Very good children.
But they got stairs and.
Did you want to date, Brad?
I don't know if anybody's had that reaction before,
So why is she selling?
I have a house.
They
that's
don't want
just,
stairs.
Yeah, I have a house that's similar to that, but it's a big house. She died, and a lot of memories are there. The last 10, 15 years of memories are there, and he wants to.
Nice. Well, there's those situations. You're gonna have that. People die. People move on. People get divorced. Kids move out. You have more kids.
I was at a guy's door about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he said, I said, how long have you been here? After the standard question, he goes, moved in 57.
Holy moly.
60 years.
Yeah, time to move, right?
He actually said I might consider it.
Nice.
Well, downsizing, not up.
Yeah.
Probably an old guy, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
He's like,
Yeah, if you moved in 1954, unless he was born, yeah.
57.
Unless he was born and raised there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
right.
he's like 81 or 82.
Nice.
I looked him up.
Time to down.
Awesome. Any other wins, victories, or excitement going on in your lives? Yes.
Well, a win for me is my consistent prospecting this week. So Right.
And I've been, it's beating me
Amazing.
up, but I know that if I do this,
She's going
like
for
the
60
quote,
listings.
like the quote that Lindsay said yesterday, I thought that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
60 listings.
60 listings.
We're gonna shoot for the.
I love the goal.
If we land on it, great. If
No,
not,
you're
the
going
stars
to
She's
will
a
land.
land.
NASA scientist,
Maybe
so
a
she
gift
can
for
help
them.
you.
Yeah. And that's how to get to the
That's awesome.
Did she say 60 listings?
60 listings,
60 listings.
Liz.
It's
It
not-
can
Nice
happen.
days.
We're
Right?
tired.
That's right.
Wow.
So look, we have a couple things coming up. So I want you guys to pay attention to the dates. The 27th is our prospecting call around. Now, Linz, wasn't that?
Are we doing 4 to 6?
Yes, right? That's what we decided on, was 4 to 6, not 5 to 7. So, you know,
You need
And
to
here's
do those when I can be here.
why can't you be there?
I'm gonna be out of town.
Well, just call from where you're at. Just because you're out of town doesn't mean you can't call. What kind of excuse is that?
Well,
Come on.
I want you to know I plan to
On
spend
die
an
hard.
hour or two every day for the next 2 weeks.
Well, that's not where we're at. Why can't you call when you're out of town?
I'm going to.
Okay, settled.
I just didn't know what, I thought that's where we come here and
You
get
can
power.
still, it is, you can still call 4 to 6 no matter where you're at.
Okay, I got a quick, can we call it 4 to 7?
4 to 7?
Can I do that if I want?
Of course. You kidding?
They're gonna get
No, you can't.
No, do 8. Right?
Skip in between.
So look, the Mike Ferry retreat is coming up July 31st through August 4th, Las Vegas.
Are you going to that?
No, I'm going to be here helping those who are here. I would like to go, and if I could go, I would go. Make no mistake.
no meetings.
No meetings. Thank you, Lindsay. There's no meetings.
Oh.
We want you there because we're going to go over a Mike Ferry video today, pre-qual. Just give you a taste of what you're going to see, somewhat what you're going to see with Mike. So make sure you go if you can get there. This is good stuff, you guys. Look, this is a foundation of information on how to launch your business. So what we're going to talk about today is pre-qualification. So I love that Tony actually talked about that right off in pre-qualification. So does that make it much easier when you're pre-qual?
I would assume so, yeah.
Chris, let me ask you,
Yes.
how difficult is it if the person's not pre-qualified and they come to you and say, hey, do a loan for me?
Can't do it.
You can't do it. You can't do it. And Mike has a couple good things in here he makes a comment on, but the reality, everything we do in life is pre-qualified, including the food we eat, right? So it's a natural place to be if you think about it. And I remember being able, I remember a great big deal I had. It was $12 million. And a couple of buyers that come through presented paperwork that they could buy the property, they could do things that they could do, but we didn't go deeper and verify, and the guy was actually a fraud. Okay, so we got so far with it till his check bounced. And the check was $100,000. So as he verified his documents, he made the documents up. So it was an absolute fraud. Thank goodness we caught it before. This is way back in my career. But it was $12 million. How important is it to qualify a $12 million buyer? How important is it to pre-qualify a $100,000 buyer?
Same.
It's the same, right? Doesn't make a difference. You got to know whether they can do it or not. So really, how about as you're calling for sell-by owners, pre-qual them? How do you pre-qual for sell-by owner?
It's pretty much the same way. You need to find out if they're really interested in selling that house.
So how do you do that?
Ask them what their motivation is.
Ask more questions,
What question?
right? Because you got to get down to really the reason they're doing it, right? How important it is to pre-qual a lender?
Very
That
important.
doesn't matter.
We're having this issue right now, right?
Yeah.
Look, you've got to understand how your lender navigates. Guess what? These guys understand how we navigate and what it is we do as a team. Fair enough?
Absolutely.
Which allows us to do what? Get from point A to point B much easier. Right?
Right.
You gotta know your game plan. You don't go into a sports game winging it. You pre-qual your team. You understand their moves. You understand what they're doing, how they're doing it. What are they about? What are your counter moves? What are you going to do? Anytime I was in a match, do you think I pre-qualled my opponent? Better believe it. Otherwise you get knocked out. Pre-qualification is probably one of the most important things you can be doing. I want you to watch this Mike Ferry video, and then we'll have some brief comments after it. Then after that, we're going to go to page 57, and we're going to practice this pre-qual script. Okay? So that we can start getting our minds wrapped around why pre-qualification is so important. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Perfect. Okay.
Is this for a mature audience?
Right?
You mixed up
It's,
the
no,
kids.
it's
You're
not,
so awesome, Stephanie.
we're not watching Tony Robbins.
Yeah, we're not watching.
Oh,
So it's okay.
Good morning, it is Mike Ferry, and welcome to Mike Ferry TV. It is, of course, the week of May 13th through 19th, and we're looking again, as we're doing each week for virtually 20 weeks, at the Mike Ferry sales system. Now, I have to share something with you. I said to my team last week, look, we've covered time management, prospecting, past client centers of influence, how to learn a canned presentation, lead follow-up. And what's really interesting about doing the Mike Ferry sales system with you on Mike Ferry TV, the viewership, the number of people watching, has diminished by probably 10%. You know what that tells me? Only the best people, you, are watching and learning how to sell real estate. You see, when I talk about motivation, or I tell great stories, or I share with you the success of other people, our viewership goes straight up. Whenever I talk about the specifics of selling real estate, like I'm doing with you each week for 20 weeks, our viewership drops, because the truth is, only the professionals, like yourself, want to know what to say and what to do. The Mike Ferry sales system is about what to say and what to do. And if you want to know what to say and what to do, believe me, we're in the right place. You know, I want to share a thought with you. My email address, which is very, very complicated, you're going to like this, mike.ferry@mikeferry.com. I receive probably 300 to 350 emails a day. Now, granted, 25% of those are what they call spam, kind of stupid advertisements, etc. Probably about 25% are great stories and jokes that friends send me all the time, and some are hysterical. Of the 50% that are left, about half of those emails, somebody wants to share with me their great successes, which I enjoy hearing. And the other 25% are people like yourself that write me a question and say, here's my dilemma, here's my problem, here's what I'm faced with. Now, the reason I say that to you is because when it comes to learning the Mike Ferry sales system, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It's not going to be done overnight. It's certainly not easy, but when a person like yourself pays the price to learn the system, great things start to happen. The question, of course, is, are you willing to pay the price? Because 20 weeks out of your life, spending 10 to 15 minutes with me watching these videos is critical to your long-term success if you're willing to spend the time. And if you are, guess what? You're going to win, and win in a big way. Everything about the real estate market today, in May of 2013, says we are in for good times ahead. Every sign, every indicator, every economic report, every government report in the US and Canada says nothing but good times ahead. You and I are in the right place at the right time. Let's learn the system. So let's make sure that we keep paying close attention. Today, our topic is pre-qualifying. And you and I both know that it's one of the key fundamental parts of any sales process. So let's go through a series of points that I put together for you on pre-qualifying. The first one says, pre-qualifying will always set you apart from the competition because it shows to that buyer or seller that you're a professional. 95% of your competition does not pre-qualify. Can you imagine going to a doctor and saying, here's my problem, and the doctor doesn't pre-qualify? You know, it's like walking and saying, I have a headache. The doctor says, okay, let's do brain surgery. It's never going to happen. You go to an attorney, the whole process is pre-qualifying. The nurse pre-qualifies, the doctor pre-qualifies, the attorney pre-qualifies. The pilot, who's going to fly you from here to there, spends 20, 30 minutes pre-qualifying the plane before they take off. See, the truth is, it sets you apart from your competition. Everybody's looking for the edge. Everybody in real estate, what's my edge? What's my competitive advantage? Can I tell you a great competitive advantage? Being a professional salesperson and pre-qualifying. The second thought I wrote down, when you are pre-qualifying, look for people that have to sell versus those that want to sell. See, when you're pre-qualifying, the have to means, for example, a need for a bigger home, a smaller home, unfortunately a divorce, financial issues, relocation, growing the family, kids leaving home. See, there has to be a have to attached. If you don't pre-qualify, you go out and you say, so why would you sell your beautiful home? Well, we want to, if we can get our price, if we can make some money. Well, see, I want somebody that's highly motivated. I want somebody that wants to take action. I want somebody that has to do something, and they have to do it now. So in pre-qualifying, make sure that you separate yourself from the competition by being professional, and then look for the ones that have to do something. And of course, this third point is something that I know, as I say it, some of you will accept and some of you will reject. And the third point is spend more time pre-qualifying and less time building a relationship in order to build the quality of your business. The quality. In today's society, everybody's in a hurry. In today's society, everybody's on fast forward. In today's society, everybody wants things done quickly. Listen to me. You walk into a house and you spend your whole time building a relationship when they're trying to figure out if you're the right person to get their home sold. You know, we walk into the house, oh, I love the house, and I love the features, and I love this, and I love that. What does that have to do with selling their home? How does that help you make a valid decision as to what you're going to do to get the home sold? The truth is it doesn't. See, the doctor doesn't walk in and say, wow, I love the outfit you're wearing today. The attorney doesn't say, wow, tell me about what kind of car you drive. Gee, how did you pick that car? See, nobody does that but real estate people. See, building a relationship is an excuse for not knowing how to sell. Because selling is a series of questions that you ask to get information and feedback from your prospect, which gives you the ability to help and guide them in a certain particular situation. So therefore, yes, I want to hopefully like them, and I hope they like me. But what I want is the respect they give me because I'm doing my job by pre-qualifying them properly. I wrote down 2 basic rules to follow in pre-qualifying. Rule number 1, pre-qualify 100% of your prospects, 100% of the time, no exceptions, and use 100% of the pre-qualifying questions. You know and I know you can go right online to MikeFrey.com and get all the pre-qualifying questions for a buyer or a seller. But you have to ask them all. Well, Mike, some of the questions I don't like. I don't care whether you like them. They need to be asked for a reason. I don't always like what the doctor says, but guess what? He's there to assist me in living my life better and longer. So therefore, I don't always like what they say, but we're here to take the advice of those people that are experts, pre-qualified. You're the expert. And rule number 2, if you have staff, and some of you have staff, many times it's easier to have your staff pre-qualify a buyer or seller on the phone than do it yourself because they don't have any preconceived notions or ideas. They don't have any hang-ups regarding the questions that you're going to ask. Sometimes you can have your staff pre-qualify for you. The next point that I wrote down, and this is so important, pre-qualifying allows you to set standards for those you want to work with, and as clients long-term. Standards, because see, the truth is, you have to have some standards if you're going to build your business. Without standards, you technically don't have a business at all. And of course, you're going to love the next point. Pre-qualifying will allow you to have more energy while you're on the presentation itself. You know, each of us has so much energy to work with each day. And I don't want to burn up the energy sitting in front of a seller or a buyer who could be signing a contract by spending 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes finding out if they really want to buy or sell a house. I want to spend my energy making a dynamic, enthusiastic presentation. We're going to talk about that next week, by the way, the listing presentation. But if you really look at what we've done the last several weeks, everything's been revolving around our ability to get out there energetically, enthusiastically, and present ourselves. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. It's not my style. So what's your style? Boring? What's your style? Depressing? What's your style? Running people off? Convincing them not to sign a contract? You need energy to do your job at the highest level. Pre-qualifying gives you more energy because you have the energy you would have used over there and use it right here. So I wrote down 2 questions that I think you'll enjoy. What happens to agents who do not pre-qualify? Well, first of all, they spend a lot of time frustrated with themselves. You know and I know. You go on a listing presentation, unqualified listing presentation, you're there for 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, you leave frustrated without a contract signed. And you're saying to yourself, why didn't I ask them if they had to sell? Second, the people that don't qualify take overpriced listings. And they take listings for 30 or 60 days instead of 60 days, 90 days, 120. Third, if you don't pre-qualify, you're reducing the amount of your hourly pay because you're investing time with no return. And fourth, people that don't pre-qualify usually are not going to prospect. You're not going to prospect if you know when you get a lead that it's a lousy lead. But if you know that when you get a lead, you can pre-qualify to see the quality, then of course you'll spend more time prospecting. Well, what happens to agents that do pre-qualify? Listen carefully. They focus on activities that lead to income. See, you and I, we can't wait to get a good lead because we know it leads to a check, a paycheck, a commission check. B, they're able to choose the clients they want to work with. When you pre-qualify, you make the decision. They're not deciding if they're going to pick you, you're deciding if you're going to pick them. And C, they have less client problems when you pre-qualify. So I wrote down a thought. When you're pre-qualifying and the client's answers are vague and unclear, and this happens, don't be afraid to ask additional questions to determine their motivation. If you can't find out where they're moving to, how soon they have to be there, etc., then you have to either be prepared to ask more questions or wave and say goodbye. Because we don't want to waste your what? Come on, say it. The word is time. And the last thing I wrote down here, which is so important, and I want you to listen carefully. It's okay to lose a prospect or an appointment because of pre-qualifying. It's better to lose them during the pre-qualifying process than to waste a couple of hours of your time sitting in front of them knowing they're never going to sign a contract. You're going to lose sometimes, it's okay. You're going to have times when you're going to say to yourself, I'm not going on this presentation. I don't care how many top agents I talk to, and I get to talk to a lot of them, they all tell me the same thing. The reason they pre-qualify is so they don't waste their time. So here's a couple homework assignments if you're into doing your job. First, there's a bonus audio you can click and download right now if you want, and listen to Donna Kroner make a live pre-qualifying presentation in front of several thousand people at a one-on-one retreat. Second homework assignment, commit just to this week. Pre-qualify every single appointment that you have. Don't be afraid to cancel an appointment. Obviously, third, keep prospecting and follow your schedule, and obviously email me if you need help. So my staff said, listen, attend one of 2 events in the next 60 days. In May, 22 to 24, in Anaheim, we're doing one of our productivity schools. If you haven't been to one, time to go. If you've been to one, time to go refresh. And then, of course, July 15th to 19th, here in the city of Las Vegas, we're doing our annual Superstar Retreat, which we obviously would like to have you there. Some of you I'm going to see throughout the months of May and June in your offices, because I'll be doing, again this year, about 50 3-hour office presentations. If you're there, come up and say hello. Tell me what you like about Mike Ferry TV, what you don't like. Email me with questions, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great one.
Alrighty.
So
What's your thoughts?
When do you pre-qualify somebody? So you set up an appointment later that day with them. You do it right then when they agree to set up a time? With
Absolutely.
You? Okay. Or do you wait? Like
No, what I do is I'm from the beginning to end. I'm pre-qualing as I even walk through my call. Once I get them to the point that they're saying yes, then I'm going to really go into the pre-qualification questions, because I really want to know, is there a condition that we can't overcome? If there is, why am I going out? You really need to look. Your time is valuable. How many contacts did you make yesterday?
72.
72 contacts. That's awesome. So the question becomes, if you're wasting your time on somebody who's not ready, can't sell, or there's an issue you can't overcome, why are you going on it? Now, how do you get to understand whether that exists? You know?
Ask questions.
Ask questions. You got to ask questions. I wasn't really, when I was pre-qualifying my wife before I asked her to marry me. I wanted to know there was some success going to be there. Do you like me? It was a good one. So you have to be asking these questions to make sure there's a relatively safe path in which to proceed forward. Otherwise, why are you going to do it? But look, we pre-qual on everything. Does it taste good? Don't ask me that question, because I eat everything. And I like everything. So I'm not a good person, as you can see. So the reality is you got to pre-qualify in order to move forward successfully. That's extremely important. In everything we do, we're pre-qualifying. We don't know it, but we are. So why don't we in this job? Or maybe because we're desperate to get the listing, maybe? Afraid of losing the opportunity, right? The more you start getting production, the more listings you put on the board, trust me, the more you start really pre-qualifying even deeper. To the point you plan on listing with me when I come out tonight. Is there any reason why you wouldn't? Help me understand what you're really looking for. No different than a doctor who's going to try to help you become better and successful in your recovery. They have to ask questions. NASA, back to that. And I'm fascinated by the whole NASA thing, and always has been since a little kid. That's why I'm such a big fan. But they had a room that they took all of the problems that said couldn't be figured out to figure them out. They couldn't figure them out without asking the questions. How can we do it? How can we get it done? So the questions is extremely important in your pre-qualifying process. Lending, it's impossible. It's impossible. When we get an offer on our properties, do we pre-qual the offer?
Yes.
Yes. Why do we do it 100% of the time?
Save time.
Save time. Save problems. Why is it so difficult to pre-qual a listing presentation? I'm fascinated with that. It's such a natural process with me. I'm doing that as I move forward. It becomes one with the prospecting. Make sense? So, after our closing affirmations, please stay. Don't scurry off. And then we're going to go through this. Fair enough?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks. Let's do some closing affirmations. All righty. I succeed because I act on my goals. I am an optimist. I like talking to new people. I know what's important to me. I remember people's names. I have a daily plan I follow. I am passionate about real estate. I know consistency is my greatest tool. I like asking questions and listening. I enjoy reading through my sales skills. My thoughts lead to my emotions, actions, results. I focus on my dreams daily. My presentation style is persuasive. I improve my skills daily. I am happy. I love prospecting because it leads my business. I see my future in love. I love my life. I am grateful and thankful. I control my
thinking. I believe in me. I feel outstanding. I use my beliefs honestly daily. I get things done. I provide excellent customer service. I drink water daily. I connect with people. People love me. I love others. I'm disciplined and accountable by my daily schedule. I prospect daily. I set appointments daily. I'm a master persuader. I achieve my goals. I'm a real estate rock star. I'm passionate about my life. I live every day with purpose. I'm confident in my sales skills. I know my destiny. I'm healthy and strong. I'm powerful. I'm unstoppable. I keep positive, shining, I'm proud, I'm smiling all the time. Yes! Morning. Not supposed to back up in speeding traffic. Okay, grab your booklets and let's circle the wagons. That seems that
Circle of love.
That's circle of love.
You know, I always pre-qualify all of them.
Everyone.
Listings or buyers, but the buyers I always send to these loan officers.
To get them pre-qual.
That's kind of
But sometimes it takes a long time,
course.
several days later.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to know what kind of questions I can ask them up front. Are there questions I can just do this right up front?
Yeah, but you're not gonna know what their credit score is or what they're qualified for, though.
I ain't got enough.
Loan officer. It took almost 2 weeks to get this lady I got yesterday.
Yeah, look, the process of actually taking your buyers to a lender to get them pre-qualified. Are you gonna take somebody that doesn't have a job out to look at a home?
Oh, no.
Right? So who cares how long it takes to get them to